Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. I think this is episode 152. I hope you guys have been enjoying everything we've been putting out. That episode with James from the Scrape Doctor was very informative. I'm sure we're going to talk about this in today's episode. I actually found a new scrape on one of my properties. So I'm really hyped about that. Got that thing all set up, hopefully pissing those bucks off. But this episode is going to be with Mr. Adam Dempsey. He is coming back on. We're going to talk about what his season's been looking like and kind of what we're expecting. And then we're just going to see where it goes, dive into it. So before we do that, got to run through the partners. All the websites for the partners are listed down below, along with the discount code. So if you really feel like you want to go help support these guys or help support us, please click those links and go get your stuff from them. We could not do this podcast without them. So first up is going to be Working Class Bow Hunter. If you feel like getting some new merch, head over to workingclassbowhunter.com and check out everything they've got. I know they're going to be hopefully selling the new Kill Bottle whiskey. Excuse me. The Kill Bottle whiskey bottle that is supposed to be making its rounds. I did hear something about a new updated bottle coming out, so that's exciting. Those guys are some really good dudes. So yeah, go support them, go listen to their podcast, and get some of their merch. Next up is gonna be Osseo gear. As you can see, I'm wearing the Osseo hat. Gotta rep them. But yeah, Osseo, man, their camo is second to none. If you are wanting to get, I guess, an upgraded set of camo, Osseo is the way to go. I have literally had deer walk right under me, see me in the tree. Obviously I'm not moving, but a couple times I've been spotted in it and they never spook. The quality of it is great. It's super quiet, super breathable. They got you covered from early season, like hot stuff down here in Georgia, all the way to late season, like cold stuff up in Canada. So Osseo covers everything. So definitely go support them. Let's see, Summit Tree Stands. My climber is going to be getting put to good use this coming weekend. I'm not hunting my usual spot. I am going to be hunting a different spot that I really don't hunt a lot. And the reason I'm doing that is I don't want to overpressure my main spot, mainly because the bucks have gone nocturnal, which again, I'm sure me and Adam are going to talk about this. But I like to use my climber to be as mobile as I can. And, I have fully adopted like the mobile hunting game when it comes down to a couple of the spots. If I sit somewhere and it doesn't look all that good, or I see like, I need to be in this tree or see a trail or whatever it is, that climber allows me to do it quietly and efficiently. So head over to summitstands.com. I have no clue what they're coming out with in 26. I am going to figure that stuff out. So as soon as I can talk about it, you guys are going to know about it. Next up is going to be the Boutique. Dude, not much to really say on that one. It's just the best arrow wraps in the business. Mike does a phenomenal job, and he is fully capable of doing almost any custom build that you want. So head over there, go get your custom arrows made. Next up is Bergie Bowsmith. Bergie is a dealer for a lot of the companies that we like to use over at his website, bergiebowsmith.com. He is also a master. I don't want to say master bow tech because I don't know if he would want me to say that, but dude's a wizard when it comes to bows. He can tune pretty much anything that's out there. So head over there to Bergie Bowsmith, go support him. And he has a new arrow company. So, even though I shoot Victory, I still want to help support my buddies. So yeah, go check them out. Next up is going to be G5 Outdoors. So my mega meets are ready and waiting. I do have some plans to test out the T2 this year. I did, which this is going to probably come up. I did shoot a doe with the dead meat, but it hit high. And nothing against the broadhead. Awesome broadhead. The blades were perfectly fine. If I cleaned it up, I could still use it. They're super sharp still. So broadhead did its job. I just didn't. But yeah, G5 makes a great product. Dude, I mean, the Mega Meat is just an absolute slammer. I know some new stuff is coming out soon that I still can't talk about, but I will tell you guys when I can. But yeah, they got the Mega Meat, the Dead Meat V2, the T2, which I really want to try. And then they've got 4 different fixed blades to choose from with the Montec, the M3, the Striker X, and the Striker V2. Next up is going to be Prime Archery. If you're watching the video, you can see my form back there. I actually was talking with Brian today And, I normally don't tell you guys what's coming, but in this one, I am going to let you guys know. We are going to be dropping the Prime 2026 lineup episode the week that those bows drop. Okay. So, it's going to be sometime in November. I can't tell you guys exactly the date, but be looking out for that. I am extremely excited to see what they have coming up, because they're always so tight-lipped about it, which I appreciate. I really do, because loose lip sync ships. I don't want people knowing like what they're up to, what kind of innovation, what kind of changes they're making, and then somebody take that and go do it on their own, right? But Prime makes a fantastic bow. It's the most comfortable bow I've ever shot. I have absolutely no issues getting it in the tree, plenty of clearance, even with the 34 ATA. And for those of y'all that like the hood out of ground blinds, sorry, oh man, sorry y'all, it's been a long day. For those of y'all like the hunt out of ground blinds, they have the Prime form in a 30-inch package as well. So head over to Prime Archery, go check out everything they got. Very, very thankful to be working with them. Next up is Dialed Archery. As you guys know, they just dropped the Strike not even a couple months ago, like a month ago. That is their first fixed pin, no mover sight. It's simple, it gets the job done, and it looks awesome. I'm running the Proof, still the best roller sight that I've ever used. Tons of options with Dialed. I mean, Dialed is fantastic. Best bow sight that I've ever used. So definitely go support them. Go check out the small batches. And yeah, man, get your stuff dialed. So corny. All right. Next up, Ace Hardware Social Circle. That is my local bow shop. Really nothing I can say other than, those guys are awesome. They do a great job. Sell all the brands we need. I think they actually are starting to carry Dialed, if I'm not mistaken. They carry G5. They carry Prime. They carry Moultrie. They carry Boning. They carry all of the stuff. Victory is one of them that they definitely carry. I mean, they carry all of the top stuff. So go support those guys. Speaking of Moultrie, my Moultrie cameras have been great. I did find that, like I mentioned earlier, that new scrape. So I moved that camera from an old scrape that I had that wasn't really getting hit. And I moved that over to the new scrape that I found. I actually watched the buck make the scrape this past weekend. I'll get into that in this episode. But the Moultrie camera's been working great. I love them. I think you guys will too. And they're running a deal. You can get, I think if you go on the Moultrie, I think it's if you go to Moultrie.com, Moultrie Mobile or Moultrie.com, they have the Edge 2 for sale. You can get a camera for like $60 and they work fantastically. So definitely go make the upgrade to Moultrie. You will not regret it. Bow Hunting League, shout out to them. I know I put them in every single intro now, but dude, they posted the Georgia sponsors list, and your boy was #1 on that. Not saying that the podcast is doing better than anybody else, but it really was. It was kind of one of those moments where you take a step back and you're like, "Holy crap! 50,000 people just saw this. Like, it's insane." So yeah, thank you, Bow Hunting League, for allowing me to be involved. Thank you for everything you guys do for the bow hunting community. And I hope you guys are on a team. I really do. I've seen some slammers go down this year already. So very, very, very exciting. Let's see. Boning Archery. I am running the Alpha Veins. That is the new vein that just came out earlier this year, way earlier this year. I think it was like March or something like that. I love them. They're super quiet, super stable on the arrow. They help direct the arrow very well. They stop it from having a little fishtail problem I had last year. And I'm not saying, oh Lord, dude, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not saying that that is the only thing. Like, I've got a different bow, I have different arrows, whatever, but they are the quietest veins I've ever used. So head over to Boning Archery, go get your new veins. I know it's becoming, for some people, it's beginning of season. For us, it's like we're, I don't know, 5th or 6th or something. We're a month in. So a lot of us have already got our stuff built. But hey, you break an arrow, you lose some arrows, who knows? Head over to Boning, they'll get you taken care of. Next up is 1227 Productions. That is my buddy Brock's YouTube channel. He is going to start filming. His season just came in. Him and his wife are actually going out this weekend on their first sit. So let's pray for them that they actually got a buck or a doe or something. Next up is the Scrape Doctor. Just did that episode with him. Got my scrape magic stuff out in that scrape that I found today. So, very, very excited to see what comes and hits that. Dude, they're opening scrapes up. That is the most, that gets me so jacked. I cannot wait. So yes, head over to scrapedoctor.com. Go get your sense before it's too late. Next up, Victory Archery. My Victory HLRs are performing flawlessly. They've got a super tight 1.5K weave that helps with stability and arrow flight and correction. I haven't had any problems. And I mean, dude, they're tough. They're so tough. So I choose Victory for all of my arrow needs, whether it's standard or 5 mil or 4 mil. They have everything you guys need. And last but not least, Outdoor Call Radio. If you don't know what that is, it's a radio show that we are on every week, every Friday. So if you miss this episode or you're like, hey, I'm old school, I like listening to radio shows. There's actually a lot of people that do that. I never realized that. But that is a radio show based out of Iowa, and Dan and his co-host, man, they're awesome dudes. So that is all of the partners. You guys are going to be hearing updates from mine and Adam's season in this episode. I'm trying to think of what else, man. Yeah, we're getting colder weather. Pre-rut is going to be kicking in soon. Like I said, found scrapes, found a rub line that I'm hunting. I haven't even gotten a chance to go scout Monticello yet. I might go full, Cody DeQuisto or some of these other guys that just go into a place, find sign, and set up over it. Acorns are dropping, scrapes are opening. It's coming, boys. It's coming. So y'all get ready. Before we get into this episode with Adam, though, you guys know I always have to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And there's been a lot of back and forth, man. I've been having conversations with Brock and with a few buddies of mine, and some days I'm on fire for it, and some days I just get so distracted and I feel so not alone, right? But it's all my doing, right? And I've been struggling with this whole this whole season, really just kind of having deer show up and having them disappear and doing everything I know to do, but nothing's working. When you get like that, like I do, the best person to give that to is Jesus. The peace that you get from him. And listen, I want you guys who are listening, all of y'all, whatever you're struggling with, okay, if you feel like Jesus, like you can't go to Jesus because you're so sinful or you're doing all these wrong things, you're completely wrong. Jesus doesn't want you to come to him clean, perfect, all of that. He meets you where you are, okay? And some of us, like myself included, we stay stuck in a certain spot for a lot longer than we really like to be. And there's days where you feel like whatever it was you were dealing with is completely gone. And then the next day punches you right in the face and you're right back to square one. It's a process. And, having the hope that Jesus brings and gives, and knowing that what he did on the cross, not to take advantage of it, but the fact that even when we're trying our hardest and we still fall, it says it in the book. I forget exactly what verse it is. I think it's James or Romans. I could be misquoting that, but I do know the quote is all fall short of the glory of God, right? And that's not an excuse. Okay. It's not an excuse for us to go out and keep sinning. It even mentions that in there too, how it says, where sin abounds, grace is efficient or sufficient. Literally the next line says, but does that mean we should go on sinning? No, quite the contrary. The point of it is we should try to, even though we are still going to fall, all of us, right? Nobody is perfect. There is no such thing. But when you fall, it's not about the fall. It's about when you get back up. Who are you turning to? Are you turning to yourself? Are you feeling guilt, which is probably Holy Spirit conviction, but are you dwelling in that guilt, or are you giving it to Jesus? Are you turning to Christ? I will tell you guys openly and honestly, every single time I make a misstep or I do something that I know I shouldn't be doing that's not going to be pleasing to God, whether intentional or not, I always turn to Christ and ask for forgiveness and confess to somebody or do it like this. I mean, I'm basically confessing to you guys right now. And, if you do that, you're on the right track, because you're trying. It's the ones that go on sinning and don't try to repent and change. Those are the ones that I would be worried about. But if you're like me and you still make mistakes and you immediately turn to Jesus, dude, you are on the right track. So I know I got a little preachy there. It's been on my mind a lot lately, just a lot of different things, but thankfully, thanks to Jesus, my Lord and Savior, man, I really have nothing to worry about, and neither do you guys. You just put your faith in him. Okay. That means trust him. And, yeah, so that is, that's my little preach moment. So that's the intro. That's the weekly push for the word, that I try to give you guys. And again, I'm just being open and honest with y'all. Okay, that's what this is. There is no face, there's no facade, there's no front. I am as honest with you guys on here as I would be in person. Some of y'all know you've reached out and we've talked about this. So thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to all of you for giving the time to listen to this intro, to hear me, try to preach the word. And I just hope that you find Jesus, and he's going to fill that hole. If you have one in your life, he will fill it. And there is nothing better that you could fill your life with, honestly. So all that said, I know Adam's waiting on us. It's going to be a good episode. You might hear me say some somewhat depressing things because it's been a struggle. But there's also going to be some enlightening things in this. So enough waiting around. Let's get started with Adam Dempsey. The man, the myth, the legend, my boy, Mr. Adam Dempsey. Y'all loved his episode last time, so I figured, hey, we need to get you on, and we made it happen. So, buddy, what has been going on with you? Before we dive into our seasons and how depressing it's been, what what else is going on? Let's start off on a good note. Give me some good news.
I'm actually in the making of creating my own. I can't really say too much, but being a welder fabricator for 20 years, I've recently just thought about it, and I was like, man, I'm sure I could make a set of sticks and a lock on that is absolutely unreal. I've never seen before. Something that has. I mean, I'm sure you see it all the time. You see the things where, either someone's putting like a ghillie suit or something in front of their blind, or in front of their stand, or, like the box blinds. I was like, let me think of something. And I came up with some tubes that just bolt to the front of your lock on. And there's no better cover than, real trees. And you just shove as many branches in there as you want to. It can have, three on the front, two on the side. And I mean, that I came up with that last year and built one of them. And you could sit in a naked tree and cover yourself up.
Dude,
You just look like a giant branch.
that's interesting because I actually bought some artificial branches and put them on my lock on just for that reason. I have a whole nother pack I haven't even put out yet, and kind of waiting until the leaf fall happens so I can sort of see what it looks like.
Mhm.
But that's not a bad idea because I mean I don't hunt that high in a lock on. I'm
That's
like 12
that's
foot up. So
exactly, especially, I mean, pine trees, I wouldn't, you could, but, you can't really, once you get
can't
into
really,
breaking the limbs and there's sap everywhere, and
yeah.
but if you're, on a decent oak tree, just go around, grab a bunch of shrubs, throw them in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll die, in 3 days, but, work
That's
is
not a
work.
bad idea. That is not a bad idea.
So I'm
I like
thinking of
that.
coming up with, I powder coated it and everything. So.
Well, dang, man. Got your engineering brain going. Okay.
I mean, my dad was a chief engineer for Holland America, so I mean, I come from a long line of engineers, welders, mechanics, etc. So
Heck yeah, man. Next Andre DeQuisto over here. I like
yeah,
it.
that part right there.
Dude. All right. Well, talking about somebody that knows how to kill absolute slammers, what is your season been looking like? Because I feel like you and I both went into it just fully confident, and God was like, hey, boys, not yet. Wait
Yeah.
a little longer. Because, whew, man. You ever go? All right, let me ask you this: you go all off season, right? And
Hmm.
you listen to these podcasts, you talk to people, you do some scouting, and you go the entire off season thinking, all right, this year I've got them figured out, right? And then you put your cameras out, start seeing a bunch of bucks. They're daylighting all the time in the summer. Put food out, they're showing up. You find the trails. You literally hone in where they're at. As
Oh
soon as
yeah.
season comes in, it's almost like somebody went in there and was like, "Hey guys, starting tomorrow, um, don't be here."
They all turn into John Cena.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I mean it. I'll tell you what. I had hunted this past weekend, right? And I want to get to your season, but I have to tell you the story after you said that. I had these two spikes in front of me, and it was still pretty early. It was like, I don't know, maybe an hour before the sun went down. These spikes are just milling around, whatever. And I was getting hyped because I'm like, dude, okay, this is early. Like this is way earlier than I expected. So they're hanging out, and one of the two spikes turns around and looks like he's about to walk off, but he stops, and he is focused, like laser focused on the edge of the woods. Now I can't see up there because it's so thick. But he
Mhm.
is just watching. This deer did not move for 5 minutes, and I was like, "What's happening?" It's like either there's a person, which there shouldn't be. There's a big buck that is skirting the tree line, or there's a coyote, or something's making that deer, focus.
Abnormal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing. I didn't see anything. I don't know what it was. I'm assuming it was a deer. Um, why he wouldn't come down, I have no idea. But dude, it's like it's almost like they're ghosts right now, you know, or like
Yeah.
a vampire. Like you take a photo of them, or maybe a reverse vampire. You take a photo of them, you can see them, but you're out there, you can't see them. You know,
Yeah. That
it's
part right
ridiculous.
there.
I see the sign. I found a like new scrape today, a rub line. Uh, acorns are falling. It's getting colder. Like I'm not saying that they're never going to daylight because I know they're going to, but so far, man, it has been just a complete 180 from what they were doing a month ago. You know,
Yeah, I
so
mean, and the acorns, I mean, they're falling a little bit too early and in quite a cornucopia, there's, I'm in a 10-acre part in the back full of oak trees. I can't be everywhere at once, they get up out of their bedding area, they walk 5 feet, they eat, and then they go right back.
yeah,
It was, I've learned that every season just seems to get a little bit tougher. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know whether there's a million things that play into it. So when you think about it, you're like, patterns. And then you start thinking about it, and then you're like, okay, I got these guys patterned, I got these guys patterned. And then, like you said, as soon as, season opens up, they're gone. And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I can think of is I had to make a drastic move. I was, they were out in the food plot, they were hammering it. The only, I mean, you get about a week before they start to realize.
Yeah.
So, like you said, when you go out and, the beginning of season, they'll be out there. And if you got a big one out there, that's your chance. But I feel like after the first couple days, something happens. I couldn't.
Well, I think it's got something to do with pressure, because I've hunted this one spot 4 times, and I've noticed the shift. And it's not like the only thing that I do when I go in there is my truck is pretty loud, and I know they can hear it. There's no way they can't. And I just wonder if they remember, which I said this to somebody the other day. I wonder if these deer remember last year when they would see me, and you know, I would get down out of the stand and I would either bust them out because I didn't have any choice, right? Like I can't stay up there all night.
Yeah.
And there's no really good way to get them out. I did snort wheeze at one once. Um, that didn't really work out too well.
They just kind of get curious.
Yeah, well, no, they got scared.
Oh,
Like I might as
really?
well have just screamed at them. It was the same reaction. And
Good Lord.
so I just wonder if, because like this property I'm talking about, I can't move. I can't. I mean, I can make a small move. Like
I mean,
say,
sometimes that's all it takes, just because
yeah,
I got busted by a 9-pointer the beginning of the season. He was 3 feet from me, right behind me. I didn't even hear him, didn't see him. Went to go wipe the sweat off my head, looked down,
there
he
he
was
is.
gone, and he didn't come back in until I took that stand down.
Mm,
And as soon as I took that stand down and put the blind on the ground right next to it, he was coming in no problem. But he was still nervous on that,
yeah.
daylight.
Well, and see, that's what's weird too. Is like I've gotten in and out this season without spooking anything. I mean, like unless they're just that quiet. But even then, I would have seen the photos.
Yeah.
I learned mornings over there right now are impossible to get in because they're in there until 6:30 and then they just don't show up.
Yeah.
And I've made a point, like I've left early some nights knowing that I'm not going to see anything because even if I did, by the time they'd give me a shot, it'd be too dark.
Yeah, that's probably the best call sometimes.
Yeah, like I don't want to be overly aggressive yet, but we're getting to the point now where the major changes have to happen, man. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
drastic.
yeah, like I just started seeing acorns today, dude, when I was scouting, and all I was doing was moving the feed site. That's it.
Hmm.
'Cause I had it in one spot. They were really used to that, and then I moved it again because I didn't really like it wasn't directly in front of me, and I just wanted to see if I could, it was only a 10-foot change.
Yeah.
And after doing that, I got one buck in daylight in the past 3 weeks. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna move it back.
See,
And
that's one thing right there that I've learned. That's why I use a feeder, because when you just put corn on the ground, they know it's there. So even if you move it 10 feet or 30 feet, they'll go find it, and then as soon as they find it, they'll know it'll be there. So they know
mhm,
they can come in the middle of the night. They don't have to race every deer and its mother to get there
yeah.
at first light. But when that feeder goes off and only drops X amount,
Mhm.
they're going to want to be there for when that goes off.
See, I've never been a big feeder guy. I've always put it on the ground. And like I've
Well,
used feeders in the past.
well, the thing is people don't really think about it, but corn can cause a lot of damage to a deer.
Oh
They
yeah.
have a very high, uh,
It's like an acidic content or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, that it'll disrupt their pH balance. It'll affect antler growth,
Yeah.
and it can, bro, to tell you the truth, it can even cause death.
Oh yeah.
Because the way that they're almost like horses. My horses, if I put a bag of feed out there, they'll eat the whole bag. There's no
Yeah.
such they don't have a button that says, "Hey, I'm full." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why,
that's the good thing about this season, like this time of season, is the acorns are dropping so much everywhere that you can put like strictly corn out. And I don't just do corn. I'll do like corn and then like an additive, right? Like a
yeah, like a
protein additive.
protein or something.
I've been putting out that buck. You ever heard of buck crack?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I've been using that. Mixed results. Because I've only used it once before this. I put the rest of it out today, and so far nothing's hit it. But there was also food that was still left over at the old site.
Hmm.
And my thing with it is like when I was going through those woods today, man, it was windy, and I swear it sounded like just every single acorn in the woods was falling,
Oh
every
yeah,
single one. And I
yeah.
found two feed trees. I can't hunt them, which really sucks, but they're at the front of the property. And it's on like I'm hunting behind a church, right? Like permission piece, it's woods behind the church. So I can't exactly set up on church grounds
Hmm.
because that just wouldn't really be ideal for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but there's a tree that I kid you not, man, at least 2 to 3 thousand acorns under it already, and I know those
Oh,
are going to
easily.
be at it. I know they're
Yep,
going to.
yep.
But it's also promising seeing scrapes get opened up. Like that was the
Yeah.
first real scrape that I've found. Everything else I've made, that was the first one. And I watched this deer Saturday night make it, and I'm thinking, my stupid self. I'm watching this young spike walk in, right? The other spike was already there. This other guy comes down the ridge. Um, ridge. It's more like a little slope, but
Hmm.
he comes down it. He's like rubbing his head in this bush, and I can't really see because it's so thick, like what exactly it was. But I could see him, and I saw what he was doing, and he wasn't pawing at the ground. So that to me means the scrape was already opened up. I just didn't know it. And so today I just started looking around, and then I look over, and I was like, wait a minute. So I go over there. Sure enough, perfect level branch. I look down, ground is pawed away. You can see the paw marks. So they've obviously been hitting it. And dude, I was on the phone with my buddy Brock and I freaked out. I was like, dude, like, it's right here. I was like, I watched this deer do this. And then I look around and I see a whole rub line going to exactly where they walk out. I'm like, okay, that's where they're bedded at. So all I need to do is be able to get in there in the morning and I can catch them. Problem is, I'd have to get there at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then they leave before the sun's up anyway. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what have you really been seeing? Like, I guess really the question is, what has your season been like? Like, give us a rundown of opening day to now.
I mean, the beginning of my season, was great. I didn't shoot nothing, but like I said, I saw that 9 pointer that was there. I saw, some teenage, fawns. Mom, big mom. Mom's really big, when when the babies decide to, disperse from her, she'll probably get a free pass because I know for a fact that she can reproduce. There's some deer that you just pay attention, like my piebald. She can't. She hasn't had a baby in the past 3 years.
Wow.
But with managing it, you have to almost attack doe harder than you do your bucks, because the bucks aren't going to sit there and fight for the food. You know what I mean? They'll go wander off and find it somewhere else. At this point, you're just feeding mouths to waste food. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But I've seen the first opening week was great, and then after that, it just kind of significantly went downhill. I stayed in the same spot, just maybe moving around. And then as soon as I went over I was like, I gotta move. Something drastic has to happen. So I moved over into what I like to call the deer highway. It comes right in the middle of the property. There's about a 15, 20 foot ravine that's dropped down. And when you walk past it, like a wet deer or dog, you smell that real, and it's very potent over there. Every time you walk past it, you just smell wet deer, because the runoff goes right down there, and
Yeah.
they've got, and the whole section of the middle, you can't get into it. It's way too thick, but we're talking 30, 60 foot pine trees, 4 feet wide, with a little drainage creek that runs through there. And they haven't been moving away from that. I mean, ever since I moved to over there, that's when I started, seeing a little bit. I saw we'll say about 80% more deer, which
Yeah.
means probably about two or three deer that I've seen, you know, on a repetitive basis.
Yeah.
So it's been tough though. I mean, every season has its, ups and downs, but this season is just a little bit, and I can't tell if, bro, I mean, it's hard to go in there thinking that I'm going to shoot something when I'm not seeing nothing. So
Yeah.
I got to stop before I even get in there. I got to get my mind right because I don't want to go in there being like, well, I'm just going to go in here and sit down and, hang out. Nobody wants to just do that. So I got to get my mind right. Be like, it can happen. It can
Yeah.
happen. Anything is better than anything, nothing. But I've got way too many doe on the property to tell you the truth. Last year, I probably should have shot at least 4 or 5 more.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
dude, that has been kind of the weird thing for me this year is I've seen does, but at that the one property that I've told you about, it's got like, I don't know, 7 or 8 shooter bucks that come in semi consistently. Um, I don't see many does. There's like one doe, two fawns, maybe another doe, and then that's it. And it's like, I don't even know what to do about that, because I've been told from my buddy that used to hunt there that late October is the best time. He said if you go in October 25th in the morning, the chances of seeing a nice buck are pretty high because they will hit scrapes. And I'm starting to wonder, like, I've got a photo of one of my target bucks bedding up in that spot again. It's the second time in a month he's done this. And it makes me wonder if we're still like, how they say that bucks and does, they don't really hang out a lot. They don't stick together till the rut. I'm starting to wonder if this spot is more of like a buck bedding. And maybe that's what's so difficult about it right now is that those deer are just bedded when I'm going in. And again, the loud truck, right? But I do wonder, and I've looked around as I'm walking in, I don't see nothing. But I do wonder if those deer are somehow kind of picking off the fact that I'm going in. I don't really see how they can because I've looked all over that whole place. And the only bedding area I've seen or bedding cover really would be where that 12 point was bedded at, you know? So
I mean, I know what you're talking about, but what's been weird this season is that sometimes they'll skip their bedding area, and
yeah.
I'll have them on video laying down the middle of the food plot for hours on end. I'm like, this is, I don't feel like it's deer season. I still feel like they're, doing their normal thing, and then,
Yeah.
but they'll be laying out in the middle of the food plot, just hours on end.
I've had that. Like I've got my other spot that I'm hunting this weekend. It's kind of, and I've told you about it. It's open woods, but it's got one little field that that is like basically my main point that I'll hunt. Right, I feed there. I've got scrapes there. The deer come to it pretty consistently. I mean, I've had photos of bucks bedded up there, and I had when I went, was it 2 days ago? What's today? Wednesday. I went on
Yeah.
Monday. Yeah, so 2 days ago. And I was putting batteries in the camera and getting food out and stuff. And I'm walking around looking at the field. And dude, there's so much bedding. These deer are bedded all in.
Yeah, they're just laying down everywhere.
And
It's not a consistent bed.
Well, I don't know, because it almost seems like it is with how pressed down this is. But I don't get photos of them. That's the weird part. And I've had a camera there. Now, it's possible the camera's not angled correctly because a lot of it is on the right side behind. And this is the first year it's been overgrown like this. Like the grass is taller than me.
Yeah, I let that happen this year.
Yeah.
I didn't cut it. I let that happen.
And
yeah.
I think it's kind of like, if you have a cornfield and then you're just bed up in the cornfield, stand up, eat a cob, lay back down.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe what they're doing, especially when there's feed there, because they don't have to go anywhere. There's no pressure. I go there once or twice a month, not even a hunt. I might hunt it. Now I might hunt it twice this month just because I'm trying to stay out of the other spot. But even then, I'm never back there. Nobody else is back there. I don't think the neighbor's hunting anymore, because when I went looking for the doe that I shot, I have permission from him to be able to go and get a deer over there. And I walked both of our properties looking for her. And I didn't see his ground blind. I didn't see feed. I found a chair and like a small little makeshift tent, but no human's going to go in that. It's too small.
Yeah,
So
especially with a bow or anything like that.
Yeah,
It's not
so I
gun
was just
season,
like,
so.
Am I the only one that's hunting? I mean, I'll find out next weekend or this weekend since it's muzzleloader.
Has there
booms?
do you know if there's been any tree clearing or anything like that within like a 3 mile radius of your entire area?
God, 3 miles?
Yeah, because there's a place down the street that got trimmed pretty good, and I talked to my neighbors, and the neighbor on the backside has 1,200 acres, and do you remember that non-typical that I sent to you, where he lives back there? That's only 20 feet from where I'm at, but they just will not leave that area, and they're not in a big field. It's like they almost went through with a brush hog and just made ridiculous paths everywhere. And they since they did that this year, my movement has gone down.
Dude, so it's funny you say that. Last winter, because my grandparents' property, so it's their house, and then it goes down this little tiny saddle, goes up to the top of this ridge where the field is at. Then that ridge kind of plateaus out a bit, goes back into this small saddle. Then there's another ridge that goes way up. Well, they had, from their house to the field, they clear cut most of it. Everything that they could get, they had a brush hog in there, destroyed my ground blind, which really pissed me off. But I mean, I wasn't going to use it anyway, but
still, nonetheless, it's the principle.
It's the principle, and like I can't take my daughter hunting now, and she's wanted to go. So should I have bought one? Yeah. Will I buy one? Yes. But anyway, they did clear that up, and dude, at first I was like, man, this is gonna be bad.
It's either gonna be good or it's gonna be bad.
It seems to be good, because the doe that I shot at 3 weeks ago, all right. So let me just give this story for this, because I don't think I've told it to you. I know I haven't.
I've heard like little bits and parts.
Little bits, yeah. I haven't given the full story on the podcast. It's not really anything crazy, but so it's first morning sit of the year. Go in there. There's food. I had decent, like really, really decent bucks, if not some shooter, like for sure shooter showing up. Relatively close to daylight, right? Like maybe an hour and a half. So I get up there. I get in the tree with plenty of time, and so the way that my stand is set up, like I'll use this water bottle, right? It's a big pine tree. So there's brush up here, and it's kind of brushy around it, but the field is in front of it, right?
Okay.
So I go all the way up the tree and I am set up. I'm good. The sun starts coming up and I can see into the field. I can see into the woods behind me. And then off to my right is where the clear cut happened. And so I can see all of that. I can see down into the neighbor's yard. I say yard, it's just their property. And then I can somewhat see past the grass. The funny thing is, when I was going up the tree, I, for whatever reason, thought to myself, I need to turn around. And I did, just to make sure there was no deer in the field, I guess. Way off in the woods, I saw these two eyes. And I was like, ah, crap. Dang, I'm not going to see anything. But I went in, relatively positive. And so I get up in the tree. The sun starts coming up. I can kind of see to my right. I can just barely see into the field. And I had a food block out. And I think I see a deer. Now, mind you, I've already stood up a couple times. I've checked my watch a couple times. I've moved. I've gotten up, looked around, kind of made sure everything's tight, sat back down, shuffled a bit, put my
that first sit kind of thing,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure you
just
get,
making sure everything is good. And I'd already hunted twice before this, but like in the climber, it was my first time this year. So, I stand up, draw, let her down, hang her back up, pull the arrow off just to be on the safe side, make sure my blades are all good. And I was using the dead meat, right? So everything is set. I look forward and I can just barely see. It's just starting to get to be gray light. And I can see this shape in the field, like 20 yards away. And I was like, it kind of looks like a deer, but I'm not 100% sure. So this deer, or not this deer, the sun finally comes up and I'm able to see. And there's a dove, a nice sized dove. And I was like, oh, how long you been here? I was like, how did you not spook off? Because I was moving. Like, what? I was definitely moving. I wasn't even thinking about it. And so I watch her and I'm like, all right, it's still early. She's it's kind of too soon. And I can't fully see my pins. And I checked. I mean, I looked over at my bow. I could not see my pins. It was that dark, but I could see her. Well, she's feeding. She gets up. And my wind, because I'm on the top of this ridge, my wind, thankfully, was good. And it kind of slopes down.
Right? Yeah, dropped your thermal. Yeah.
Yeah. The timing of it was absolutely perfect because she starts walking away from the feed, walking directly towards me. And I'm high up enough. She's not gonna see me. And
them Georgia deer, bro, they'll spot you 40 feet up.
Dude, I've been there. I know what you're talking about. But I did have a good enough backdrop that hopefully she wouldn't have, right? I was very confident in that. So anyway, she starts walking towards me. And as good Lord would have it, man, she gets about 10 yards from my stand and the sun pops up. And I've got my wind checker and I just do one little puff, right? And I can see the thing, the smoke or powder, whatever, going behind me. And instead of dropping down like it usually does, I see it go behind me and lifting up. And I'm like,
yeah, that'll cover you for a good, 30 yards.
Dude, yeah. I was like, there's no way she's going to smell me. So she goes under me. It was the coolest thing. I've never heard a doe do this, but she does you ever heard a doe be like, meh, like that? Like the little, like a very tiny, tiny grunt.
Yeah, like, right? You like when a baby lion roars or something like that, yeah. Kind of that little.
Yeah. So she does that. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. We'll see. If she comes back, I'll send one, but I'm really trying to kill one of the bucks that are here because I'm fully confident they were there that morning, like 2 hours before I got there. And knowing that property and kind of how they move, the same day I killed this deer back here, that's exactly what happened. They were in there 2 hours before. They showed up at about 8:30, and I was able to put them down. But anyway, this doe goes behind me. She goes down the ridge. I'm honestly kind of expecting her to blow. Like I'm expecting to get busted. Nothing, dead quiet. Then I look to my right, and this baby gray fox comes walking out over in the clear cut. He comes walking under me, and he's making all kinds of noises. And I'm just kind of sitting there, and I'm like, dude, this is great. Like this is what deer season is supposed to feel like, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, not seeing nothing. I'm checking cameras. I'm just sort of playing on my phone. I sit down because I normally in the climber will stand up, but my legs get tired. So I was like, all right, I don't see nothing. I'm just going to slowly sit down, settle in. Not 5 minutes go by, and this doe comes walking back up the ridge in the clear cut. And I was like, okay. So I just am sitting there all like watching her, and I just slowly get up. And as I'm getting up, I go to grab my bow, and I get my bow down. I'm fully stood up at this point. I'm clipped in. I'm watching her. She comes up the clear cut, top of the ridge. And then she pulls, like you were saying, a John Cena. With this tall grass, dude, she walks into the tall grass and I lose her. I can't see her.
Oh yeah.
The feed's
Oh
on the
yeah.
other side. So when she comes out, I can see her and I'll get a shot. But she goes in that grass and I'm like, God, where'd she go? And then she pops out. I was like, oh, here we go. So, like I've told you before, does make me shake like
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
like freaking Michael J. Fox. I'm up
Just because you kind of know they're gonna be there.
yeah, well, and dude, I'm so scared of getting busted by does because it's happened so many times. I've killed many does, but I've also gotten busted by many, many does.
Yeah, there's
So
yeah.
I'm clipped in and I'm getting my bow up and I'm like shaking and I just finally, and she's broadside, just slightly quartered to me, like ever so slightly. So I draw back, anchor, come down, and the pin is on her. So like you know how the if my arm is like the deer,
Mm-hmm.
I was right here. I was my top pin at 20 yards was right here. And whatever happened, if she ducked and turned, I don't know, but I let that arrow go, dude. And it looked, I immediately, as soon as it hit her, full pass through, buried in the dirt, she goes bounding off, and I can see her running down. And she goes probably about 70 yards in a straight line and then disappears. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm like waiting for her to crash. I don't hear her crash because the angle.
Quiet as all can be.
Huh?
Quiet as all can be. Just
Yes.
gone.
I don't hear her running either. That's the weird part.
Like they just walk away or something.
Exactly.
It's insane.
Dude, so I'm sitting there and I don't hear it. And I'm thinking back on the shot. I'm like, okay, the angle, if I hit where I think I hit, it should have come out the other side, hitting the lung, but maybe not. Maybe the angle's not as bad as I thought. But as soon as that arrow hit her, I audibly said, way too high. Like I knew it was way too high. So I'm texting a few of my buddies. I'm like, hey, just shot a doe. Don't really know about the shot. We're going to see. I'm going to give her 30 minutes. We'll see. I get down, go to the arrow, and I have the arrow. I'll show you. Hold on. All right. So now I never cleaned it. I usually clean my arrows, but I was you good?
I hurt.
I didn't clean it, and you can't really tell anymore, but like you can see fully red, right? Just
That
going
doesn't look
through.
too dark. I mean,
Well, it was way lighter than that. When I hit her, it was way lighter. And I look at the arrow and I'm like, man, it's got blood on it, like a lot of blood. I should be good. And so then I go back out, I change, I put my bow up and give her probably another 30 minutes. So it's like an hour at this point. And I'm on the phone with one of my buddies and I'm like telling him, I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's like the arrow looks good. It's a full pass through. The blades did open. Sounded like I popped both lungs.
yeah.
That could have just been the broadhead opening. Because when you hit them with these 3 blades and they open, you could hit bad and it still sounds good.
Yeah, it's almost like, watching somebody get knocked out when they get hit in the face, that loud thud sound,
So I put the arrow in the ground so I wouldn't forget where I found it. And I'm looking around for blood and I'm not seeing but one spot. Not a spot like a drop, but like one spot where there's blood.
Mhm.
I was like, all right, well, let's look at it. I look at it. It looked like there were some bubbles in it, but not like what you would think. And immediately I'm like, oh, dude, a backstrap there or high lung or something. Like that angle couldn't have been as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that tree is cursed or what, because I have done this.
Is that one you were talking about last year?
No.
Oh, you got another cursed tree.
This is a totally different spot. And I've killed on this property twice now. Yeah. I've shot at 4 deer on this property. I've killed twice. So I'm 2 for 2. First deer was out of a ground blind. This tree, I've shot at 2 deer and I missed the first one, hit the second, and that she was the second. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I need to do something different. But I go into the woods and I'm not a great blood tracker. Like I can do it, But
You
I'm
get
not
turned.
like,
It's easy to get turned around when you're
well,
when.
see, there it's not, because I know the property so well. I know where I'm at. It's more of just finding the blood. Like I'll see first blood, and then if I can look, and because I'm used to the mega meat blood trail,
Oh
um,
yeah, oh yeah, for
you
sure.
don't really have to look that bad.
No,
And
no, that
because I
extra
was,
half inch does a difference.
oh yeah, and because I was using the dead meat V2, which is not a bad broadhead, it would have killed her had I hit the right spot.
Oh,
That's what I've been
absolutely.
saying. Yeah, like it's not the broadhead's fault, it's mine.
No,
But
yeah.
dude, I went and pretty much searched the entire side of the property she could have went. I went onto the neighbor's property. I went probably 200 yards in every single direction she could have gone. And I was at the property line. I couldn't go any further.
It
Plus there
it
was a
it
creek.
it just goes to show that, man, even though it's 100-pound doe, these deer are put on this earth to survive. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like it's insane. Get hit. You would think you get hit with any type of razor blade, you're gonna start gushing. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, and like that's what led me to think it was. I don't believe in the no man's land. Like I've seen deer anatomy and there isn't one,
Yeah.
but there is a spot. And because I was so far forward and I hit high, I think when she ducked, because like I said, the pin was right on her heart. Like it should
Mm-hmm.
have been a heart shot. At the least, it should have been a double lung. But I think because her head was down, which is the rookie mistake that I made, which I
Was
knew.
her foot forward or was it
Yep,
back?
it was forward.
Okay, that's a little that's that kind of drops
Yeah.
the whole deer
Yep.
almost two,
She
3 inches without even her moving.
Yeah, so she had to have ducked it, man, and maybe she's dead. I don't know. I mean, I did
Oh,
find
she's
blood.
dead. Yeah, she's definitely dead.
I did find one spot of blood about 15 yards from the first blood, and it also looked like it had a little bit of bubbles in it. So I was like, maybe at worst, I could have just clipped the top lung.
Yeah.
You know, um, I haven't seen her on camera, and I have no idea. But that was literally my third sit, and ever since then, I've just been like, am I gonna get it? Am I not gonna get it? Like, what's
Yeah.
gonna happen? So I don't know, dude. I mean, that bucks are showing up, cold fronts are coming, scrapes are opening. It's gonna get better. It's just start like Lee from Seek One. I was watching their newest video, the 184, I think he killed, and he was talking about that one buck out of state that he shot. That it it just didn't work out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something that I resonated with, which was like, that shot, have that little like demon on your shoulder the entire time up to the next point you kill another deer,
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
like, am I doing this right? And what am I
Yeah.
doing here,
You start questioning
dude?
everything you've ever
Yeah,
known.
yeah. And I've been playing that shot over and over and over in my head. I hope that I see her on camera again. I really do. I
It's
don't think she's dead personally. I think she's
you know, I mean, gosh, there's a good chance, she probably, laid up somewhere and probably, because at the same time, them T2s, them things are serious. You
Yeah,
know
but
what
it
I
wasn't a
mean?
T2. It was literally
Or
that,
what was that?
the dead meat V2,
Oh, the deep. That's right. That's right.
which they're great broadheads. Like I said, they're great broadheads. But I need to show you exactly where I hit, because after thinking about it so much, I know that I hit very high.
Hmm.
Not high enough to lunger or to spiner, but high enough that it could have been backstrap. It very well could have been backstrap, or backstrap and lung. I mean, I don't know, but either way, man, it's one of those things that, and this kind of leads me into something I wanted to bring up with you on this, and get your opinion. Is like, you and I both love big deer, right?
Oh, absolutely. Who
And
doesn't?
well, that's the thing, is like, do you feel like the hunting community, in a sense, because I feel this way, but hunting community is kind of going towards the, how can I put it? If you don't kill a big buck, you're not doing nothing
Oh,
in this hobby.
absolutely. I mean, if you're not using a Matthews, or you're using a crossbow, it's all rolls downhill with all that stuff. But what people don't understand is you can't have big bucks if they don't have enough food to forage off of, you know?
Yeah.
Why do you think we have 13 tags? You know, if you have, I have 50 acres and my deer are surprisingly, you know, pretty good, you know, but the population doe to buck ratio, I never not just, you know, it's, I will never, how do I say this? If you hunt all year looking to get your big buck and then you say, okay, now I'll start shooting does, and then you don't shoot no does, now you have all the does
Mhm.
eating all your food, everything that the bucks need to grow to
Yeah.
that size. So if you know, if you have, it's just the land can't hold that many deer. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was listening to the Nine Fingers Chronicle earlier, you know, and he had Kip Adams on there.
Yeah.
So and he this was he was I was listening to this. You know, the big bucks can't just grow randomly. You know, they have to be fed. You know, they've got to be nourished and all that stuff. But if you got all these deer just not being able to survive off the land, you just have adequate. You just have average deer everywhere.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
just, my
like
thing is like, and I'll get what you're
you
saying.
have to shoot the does. If you
Oh,
do
yeah.
not shoot the
Yeah.
does, you can kiss all your land management, your food plots, you know, all that stuff goodbye. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll still come across, you know, your typical, 120, 130, but if you're looking for, 180 and up, I feed my deer and I make sure that I feed them, they eat better than I do.
Yeah. I think what I was getting at though with it is like, all right. I'll give you an example. Me and my buddy were talking about this today. And I went into last weekend fully convinced, having so much faith that one of these big bucks is going to show up. I've had quite a few encounters over there in the past year that a nice 2 year old, 2.5 year old, whatever, would show up. And I'm like, he's a little too small. He's not what I'm looking for. But when I go in there, I don't know about you, but every time I go into the woods, before I get set up, before I even step foot in there, I always say a prayer.
Oh
And there's
yeah,
been
always.
times where I will go, like, I'll give a kind of a paraphrasing of what I say because it changes almost every time. But
Yeah,
same center point. Um, but sometimes I'll walk in, I'm like, all right, Lord, please let this be a good sit. Please let it be successful. Please let me be safe. And sometimes, excuse me,
you'll
sometimes
add that
I
big
will,
buck thing in there.
yeah, I will literally say, and if you could just send in that big
Yeah,
man. And I was saying that to my buddy today, and he pointed out, he's like, man, what are you doing? I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're basically idolizing these big bucks. That could be a reason why I'm so stressed out about these deer, because if I go on my camera and I see a little basket rack eight, now mind you, I haven't shot a buck in 3 years.
hmm,
It's been that long because I've just let them all walk. And
yeah,
if I see a basket rack eight, I'm like, whatever. I don't even look.
yeah.
And I feel like I'm not giving that deer its proper respect. you know
Absolutely,
so like
absolutely.
the realization, I guess, epiphany that I've had is like, if I go to this spot, either one of them, especially public's a whole different thing. I'm shooting whatever I see on public. But
Hmm.
if I go to either one of these spots and go in there and say, okay, big buck only, and yet I haven't shot a buck in 3 years.
Yeah, you're just hurting yourself.
Exactly. So like, do you think that might be something people might, because Fred Bear is known as like literally the best bow hunter that's ever existed, right? And now that's obviously,
Yeah,
subjective,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But he didn't kill 25 200s. He killed whatever he wanted to when he was out there. And more
Yeah,
people respect him than they do anybody that's killed, you know, 20, 25, 30, whatever giant deer. Now it's,
yeah, but
what's
how
more
many
important.
small deer have they killed leading up to that? You know,
And
you
that's
you
that's the
you
next
have
thing I
to
was going to
take
say.
you have to take what's giving to you with being blessed,
Yeah.
because if God puts something in front of you and you turn it down because it's not big enough, there's your humbleization real quick and you won't see that big deer. Be blessed to take that 8 pointer, and then he'll say, okay, I think you might deserve, something a little
Something
bit bigger
better.
this year,
Yeah. Well, we
not
get
just
two buck tags. So that was the
exactly.
one thing. Like, I started explaining it to him, and kind of giving my reasoning for why I didn't shoot any of these big, or I'm gonna say big, any of these like spikes, which I need to have a conversation with the Lord a little bit. Like, man, look, I understand, maybe me holding out for like one of these big deer might not exactly be smart, but a spike, do you really want me to shoot a spike? Like, he's a
Yeah.
baby, man. And I
Yeah.
don't judge anybody. That internal battle that I've got with myself, if I shoot a spike, I'm scared I'm not going to be as excited about it as I would like a basket rack, And
I mean,
I don't really like
you
that.
you got to think about it. When's the last time you filled both buck tags?
5 years ago.
Okay. Now, next time one of them spikes walks out that he's offered to you 100 times in the past, go ahead and try and take it and see what happens. And then what you truly become blessed with, something bigger will come about.
I
I
might
can't
do that.
promise you that, but I've had that happen.
Yeah.
I shot. It wasn't a spike. It was a little 6 pointer.
Mhm.
Second week of the season. Why? Because I like
Wanted
shooting.
to.
I like shooting deer. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I mean, 6 point. I mean, I could go from 6, 7. I'd like to have the alpha, numbers up there go from 6 pointer all the way to
Mhm.
14 point. But I definitely learned take what's given to you to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because it's there's people out there that, man, my buddy hasn't shot a deer in like 7 years, and he goes out, I mean, hardcore public every weekend, and he has not shot a deer in the past 6 or 7 years. And I
Yeah.
asked him, I said, why? And he said, oh, because they're all 120, 125. And I said, well, just remember, you're only hurting yourself. you know you could have that up on the wall. Be
Mhm.
blessed. Like I said, be blessed with it, because there's people out there that don't get nothing. And then how
Yeah.
do you get good? You gotta kill stuff to get good. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
can't, like, anybody can shoot a target, but as you slowly start building up your harvest report, you learn a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and see, I wanted
success.
to use,
Success. You don't play
yeah.
baseball and learn overnight. You don't learn to drive a car overnight.
Yeah.
You step by step by step.
The bad part is I wanted to use dose for that. And I just come to realize, and I still shoot does, right? But I've come to realize that, like, and I've said it to you before, I've said it a million times on here, I get more nervous with does. I don't know what it is. A buck steps out, I'm fine. I might get a little shaky, but a doe steps out, and I'm like, I'm gonna shoot her. Oh, dude, I have no control almost. And I think what it is too is like we've become so desensitized by social media that if I go on Instagram or Facebook right now, do you know how many 150s I'm going to see? They're all over the place.
Bro,
Doesn't
they're
mean they're really all over the place, but that's just what we're seeing. And
when,
like,
when there's that many in one spot, it'll get you a
yeah,
little discouraged pretty quick.
no, see, that's the thing though. It's not the discouragement. It's the fact that's all that we see is big deer now. And so in our mind, subconsciously, we're like, oh, that's what I need to shoot. What am I doing shooting a 100-inch 8 point? Dude,
Yeah.
it's a that's still a deer. Like that is, yes, he's young, but it's still a deer. You still got a buck on the ground. And that's, if you go to my buddy Josh's house, he is the best hunter that I know. That dude has killed, he consistently, as long as I've known him, has killed a very, very respectable buck every single year. Do you know what else he shoots? He'll shoot a
Mm.
spike. I've been
Oh
with
yeah.
him when he's done it. And it's like, I've kind of got the realization now that that's what I need to be doing. I don't need to go out there and be like, oh, let's just name a big, a
Yeah,
big
going out there
bull.
looking for a Boone and Crockett deer,
Yeah, yeah. Like
it's
I'm not Lee Lakoski trying to kill a 200 every time I sit. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And that's no
exactly.
hate on Lee. The dude's got his setup. Lee Ellis, perfect example too.
It
I'm
took him.
not doing what they're doing.
He got there somehow. He didn't just start with
Exactly.
200s.
Exactly. So I think it's kind of frustrating, man, because being in it now for 6 years, you think I would know this. But I think what happened was the first 2 years killing smallish bucks. I mean, I've got my first year back there. I've got my third one over here. He's probably like a 100-inch 9 point. Uh, my little 5 point over there. So I do that, and I'm like, oh man, I've already killed. And then you got the 102 over here. And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I've already killed small bucks. I'm moving up, and that's just do Do I want to do that? Yes, I do want to move up, but should I try to fill both tags with big deer? Do you know how hard that is to
Oh,
do?
like, bro, bro,
Like,
it's insane because
yeah.
they don't get big by being dumb.
Well, and even having 8 shooters on one property, are they all going to show up on the same day? No.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the overexcitement and stuff. And like, I'll be honest, man, I wouldn't even be able to afford the taxidermy bill anyway. Like,
Bro, I'm gonna tell you
ain't
right
no
now.
way.
I told the wife, I said, listen, there's only one deer that's gonna get taxidermied. He's gonna be shoulder mount, would be that non-typical. Other than that, I couldn't afford to shoulder
Right.
mount 200, 130 inch deer every week or every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I want like, I've only got, I think one, two, maybe three, four. I've got like 5 more spaces I could put a deer up at.
Oh, I look for
Well,
more spaces every day.
oh, dude. Well, I mean, that doesn't mean I wouldn't have them in
Doesn't
the
mean
corner or
it doesn't
something.
mean I'm gonna fill it.
Yeah, but what I mean is like even if that happened, I'd have one behind the computer. I'd have one right here next to my mom's old little cycling machine that's been here for 5, 6 years. Like I'd have them around, but the thing is, I think too, it's like me personally, I'm so impatient when it comes down to this type of stuff because again, I can get on the deer, right?
Yeah.
I know where to go. I know where to put the cameras. It's killing them. That's the hard part, which is
Yeah.
obvious, right? But
Yeah.
and I'm just being like totally transparent here. I get mad sometimes when I'll go and I'm thinking, okay, cold front, there's fresh feed. I've got a scent out. They were here this morning. And then I go sit and I see nothing. Or I see like a fawn which I have to admit, I saw a fawn on Saturday. It's the saddest thing. Dude, I was so heartbroken with this. It's this little fawn I've been watching on the camera and she's been with her mom a lot. I think she just got kicked out like maybe that day because she comes walking in, she's all skittish. She goes and goes up to the front of the property, and I'm like, oh well, that was kind of cool. 5 minutes go by, this fawn comes bolting back in, and I was like, dang, what happened to you? And she's like looking around. I swear in my mind, I'm like, dude, she's looking for her mom. This is so sad. She
Yeah,
comes
that's
running up
terrible.
under the tree stand, and like she's so little. I'm like, I kind of just want to jump down and pick
Take
her
her
up.
home.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, listen, you'll be safe here. Just if you don't mind a pug chewing on your hooves, you'll be okay. And I didn't do it, but then she goes running off and goes off in the thicket, and I'm just like, man. And see, that's the thing too, is like, and I know I've gone so long winded on this, but it really has been on my mind lately. That I feel like a lot of us go out there and we're not taking in the experience that we should. We're out there trying to kill big bucks. We're not out there just to be in nature, be with God, and enjoy all the stuff that He's letting us see.
Yeah, that's the thing nowadays, man. Everyone goes out there to kill.
Yeah,
You know, it's what fun is killing? Killing is
it's the worst part in my
yeah.
opinion.
You know what I mean?
I hate
Like
it. I mean,
it.
I truly do.
But
But
yeah, I totally get where you get upset sometimes because I'll come home and I'll be like, oh, talk to my wife. I'm like, I'm the worst hunter ever. Like, I don't even deserve to be out there. Like,
hey, try
I'm selling everything.
shoulder shoot a doe, right? Feel like that, go back the next day and gut shoot a doe, and then tell me how bad of a hunter you think you are.
Oh,
Dude, that was the worst weekend of my life when it comes down to hunting. I found the doe the next day, but I still felt terrible. I'll tell you right now, you send one of these bad boys through a deer's guts, you can stick your head in it. It's
oh
insane.
yeah.
It was the most gruesome thing that I've ever seen.
Bro,
And
that 8 point that I shot, he was almost facing me, but just quartered away. I was like, let me sneak that G5, that mega meat right into his shoulder. Dude, it went in the top of his shoulder, went through the deer and came out his lower left abdomen and dropped all of his guts. So he was running with and he only ran about maybe 100 yards and then but dude, it literally, bro, the whole I was like, good God. I
I
mean,
mean,
it
you
went
don't really
in.
have to gut him at that point.
Dude, I really didn't, bro. Dude, to take the picture, I had to shove everything back up in there.
Oh God, that is
That's how bad it
horrible.
was.
Oof.
That
I don't know.
G5 left in like a crater.
Yeah, and they're nasty, dude. They really are. I don't know, man. Like I feel like, especially being in the industry in the podcast space, that you see everybody else and they're all, and I forget that they're in like Iowa, Illinois, Ohio, Even some of my buddies in
Missouri, you
Georgia, yeah,
know.
Missouri, like even buddies of mine in Georgia that are killing studs, and I'm over here like, okay, I have them on camera, but they're not in front of me. I can't go really anywhere else. I can maybe move 100 yards if that, but like I don't even know what's over there. I
I
haven't
mean,
seen it yet.
I don't know if you know, but Iowa, they hunt their does twice as hard as they hunt their bucks, if not more. I would. This is what Kip was saying. I was listening. He was like, they hunt their doe with an extreme passion.
Hmm.
You know, why do you think everyone wants to go to Iowa and hunt? You know, no pressure, great luscious food everywhere,
Yeah,
and monster deer. Why are there monster deer? Because they're not competing with, 13, 14 other doe.
yeah,
So they say for every 5 to 6 doe taken in Iowa, a buck is taken.
that's wild. We need to
It's
get back
insane.
out there.
They nobody hunts them. Nobody hunts does as hard as Iowa does, and
Yeah,
that's
we
the
really need
problem.
to do that here.
Dude, that's like, and as he was saying it, I'm listening. I'm like, this makes perfect sense. You know, you hunt all year trying to get your buck, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot a doe, and
Yeah,
then boom, season's over. Why do you think I was talking to a DNR guy and he said that the only reason why they had this early gun season was because there wasn't enough doe harvested last year.
dude, how do you feel about that? Because I feel like this early gun season, and we're never gonna know, but I feel like a lot of bucks were probably killed illegally.
Oh, bro, man, easily, especially on public land. I mean,
Yeah,
private, absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. It's tempting. You know,
I mean, it. I
well,
don't
not
know.
for
I didn't
me,
hunt
but
with a
like,
gun,
it's
so
easy.
for me, I was just like in my normal. Dude, I'm about to slice my freaking finger open. Sorry, I'm playing with this blade, and it won't
Oh,
pop
dude,
back in.
mine are 150 on the sharp test, which is
Yeah,
sharper than the a regular average razor blade.
dude, I just had to do that on the table. I'm not trying to. I don't want to slice my finger open on the podcast.
Dude, I've got plenty of those.
Dang.
I got plenty of these bad boys.
Dude, I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what they come out. I know I'm just gonna say this, and if you've heard the podcast where I dropped a little bit of a hint,
I've heard, not I've
I'm
heard, but I've heard the hints.
it's nasty. It's gonna be nasty. I cannot wait. Um, but yeah, anyway, going back to the the thing we were talking about earlier with like bucks, I just feel like do I think everybody should go out there and just shoot the first basket rack they see? No. But if you're like, like us, right, where we kind of understand the fact that we are not going to shoot, most likely. I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. Most
Yeah,
likely, we're not going to shoot something over 120 twice.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
Georgia deer,
exactly.
when they're mature like that, they don't show up. They
No, they
figure
don't get
you
big
out.
by being dumb.
Exactly. And so, like, unless you've got the time and the knowledge of what these deer are doing, I'm not saying it won't happen, but like, you better just hope and pray that late October, early November, that buck slips up.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Well, here's the thing: no amount of work or no lack of work will decide on the size of your deer you take,
yeah.
because it only takes 5 minutes. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? There's people that go out there randomly. My neighbor, he'll go out there when gun season opens, and dude, he'll drop 140, 160 inch deer, and I'm like, I've been doing this for like 4 weeks, and gun season opens up, and this is what happens. I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, but man, see, I don't really compare bow hunting with gun hunting just
well,
because,
no, it's just how quick he picked up that 160. I've been hunting the 160 since the beginning, all the way till gun season, and then as soon as gun season opens up, I don't know how he does it.
well, all right, think about this. Think about the timing. And if he's not out there and you are, that buck potentially found out you were in there and decided to go to his spot. And then, especially if he's hunting with a gun and he's able to shoot 100, 200, 300 yards,
Yeah, he's
that
up
buck
in
doesn't
like
even
a
know he's there.
yeah, he's up in a 30 foot,
Yeah. So
massive house.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't ever compare the two because you kind of can't, you know?
Oh no, I'm not comparing them. I'm just kind of a little upset that I was hunting this
It's
thing and
gone.
now it's
I get
just
it.
gone.
I get it.
So
Yeah, it's
that's what it
weird,
just
man.
goes to say. No matter how much work you put into it, it can either be taken
Well,
or not.
I agree with that up to the point of if you look at like what, a lot of the suburban guys do, you get one spot and you hunt it a couple times and then either the buck busts you or sees you or you see he's disappeared. Then you just go door knocking. You go find where that buck's at. The problem is having time to do it. That's my biggest issue. Like, do I sometimes have time? Yes. But is the area that I'm hunting a little questionable as far as like, if I go knock, like I have one spot that I know the deer are in. I know it because I've seen them and it was broad daylight. They were in there. I saw them walking through the backyard. And immediately I was like, dude, okay, I know where they're coming from now, 100%. And I need to go door knock. But then I started thinking about it and I've seen the homeowners outside a little bit and their house isn't exactly the best. And I'm just like, I've got buddies that have had guns drawn on them. I've had buddies that have had their lives threatened. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? I haven't decided if it is or not. Like, they're probably super nice, right? Most people in our area are pretty cool, but it just takes one.
Yeah, there's always just that one.
Yeah, it just takes one time of me driving up there, dressed like I am right now, knocking on the door, and someone that's scared or someone that has a prejudice against other people or whatever it is.
Just don't like hunters.
Don't like, well, not even that. Just don't like other people. They don't want to be bothered. And you knock on that door, and next thing you know, boom, I've got a slug going through me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll probably end up going over there, just driving around one day, like the day I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go door knock over there. I'll probably drive around and just sort of do maybe one pass and be like, all right, they're outside. If they're outside, it's not a big deal. I can pull up, engage it when I pull up. But I can tell you, if I can get that spot, oh, dude, it's 10 times better than where I'm at right now, because every single one of these bucks for sure goes through there. I can't exactly say how I know that, but other than having seen, these deer through, yeah, man, I don't know. I mean, the same thing happened last year, thinking I've got these deer dialed in, and then I get one opportunity. I haven't gotten the opportunity yet, but I feel like that, and I guess we can wrap it up with that, is like, do you think, I've heard people say before, do you think it's true that we basically get one encounter with a mature buck or the mature buck we're after, and then it just becomes 10 times harder?
No, because that velvet buck, I saw him the opening weekend. He saw me, ran, and then the next following week came back out same time. Let him have it. Okay. I mean, the same thing with my neighbor. My neighbor, I mean, deer know people. You know what I mean? Like they put one and one together. It's so, but it all depends on the encounter you give them. If I don't have a shot, I'm not going to take the shot, because they're going to put this spot, this place, and this time with danger.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you could probably kiss it goodbye.
Yeah.
Or you get lucky and it come back around.
Yeah.
But
I did have that one buck trike last year. I had that encounter with him, and he saw my bow. He saw me. And I mean, he was a 5-year-old deer. Like, he was smart, and he knew I was going to be there. Like, he knew. And he came in anyway, probably because the hurricane was so gnarly he had to. And there's fresh food, and it's just a perfect setup. And then I think it was, I have to look back. I may have even deleted the pictures because I don't hunt there anymore or use those cameras. But he came back and daylighted one more time and then disappeared. And I'm pretty sure he got killed. But even then, like, I hunted where he daylighted. I saw a deer, and it was a small little, nothing like big, but still, I mean, it's just weird how the past 3 years, every buck encounter I've had, it's been one time. I've seen it one time, and then whether he smelled me or had no idea I was there, never came back.
So, yeah, I totally feel like doe and bucks, their brains are completely different. Yeah. Because you can have the same run-in with a doe all season long, like I've had last year, no problem.
Yeah, I had a doe blowing at me all year last year and shot her on the last day, and she came in on a string, right?
Yeah, no problem at all.
She blew at me. She blew at me that day, and I'm like, all right, you know what? And then I lost her. So
yeah, It's crazy the way that, that's one thing that I've always, has been very fascinated about is the thought process of a buck.
Oh, the way smarter than we give them credit.
Oh,
Way
absolutely.
smarter. I learned that listening to Andre DeQuisto when he said that a buck will stand there. He basically gave a good example, and we can wrap it up on this for the people listening because they need to hear this. He said that if you try to stand in one place, just try it. Just stand up in your room, pick a spot on the wall, and
Yeah.
20 minutes and don't move. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Buck, he's got all day long. You don't have
Yeah.
to. And that's exactly what that spike did. That spike was sitting there for 5 minutes, didn't move. Dude, he almost disappeared. He just wasn't moving.
Yeah, probably didn't even blink, nothing. Just
Yeah. And I'm like, how in the hell are you doing that? So I don't know, man. You know what? I guess the way we could just sum it up and make it easy for everybody is Georgia deer are just harder than everybody else's deer to hunt.
I'm telling you,
I'm
man.
kidding, but sometimes I feel that way.
Yeah, I totally feel like that.
Oh,
Bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm gonna see some big things have happened since the last time we talked. Became partners with Black Widow Deer Lures and Tacticam.
Okay.
So the Black Widow Deer Lures, they have like 50 different scents. They have forehead gland scent. They have northern, southern. They have all kinds of stuff. So I'm gonna see what we can do and hopefully bring them out, since October is around. So that's the time for them. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude. I after today am fully convinced scrapes are where it's at. Scrapes and rub lines. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And you can do them yourself. That's what I do. I just run them straight down the line, and then I'll make a figure 8. And
that's did you listen to the script?
Yeah, that's exactly where I got that from, bro. And it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, even though I wasn't putting scent into it, I'll let them kind of do that in the beginning. But if you go around and mess up enough stuff, they'll be curious.
Oh yeah. Yeah, now is the time. I mean, that's literally why I named that episode what I did, because it is the time. Like, if you haven't gotten scrapes or found scrapes, you need to.
Yeah.
Because, and the two things I'm going to be focusing on from listening to James and also listening to a Southern Outdoorsman podcast where this guy was talking about rub lines. I haven't finished it yet, but what he was basically saying is he broke it down perfectly. He's like, if you go in and you see a rub or a couple rubs, right? And you try to follow that and it doesn't do anything, deer probably isn't going there much. He might have just laid down some scent.
Yeah, pass by.
Just passing by.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you go in, though, and you find an actual rub line every 10, 20 feet, 10, 20 yards, whatever, and you can follow that and it ends by some thick stuff, hunt probably 30 yards off the thick stuff in the morning. That's where you need to be, because that buck will be going back to it.
Yeah, something that's hit repetitive. Yeah.
So it's crazy, man. Like, and that is the one thing that I've really sort of, I guess, picked up this year is like the woodsmanship side of things. Because in Georgia, we can bait. We kind of have to, because
you've never seen nothing.
But that's the beauty of it, is because everybody else does it, you can kind of, if you know where your neighbor's hunting at and you know where your food's at,
use it to your advantage.
Yeah, sit between it, because they will bounce back and forth.
Absolutely.
And you'll find the trails. And dude, I'm telling you, I love it when somebody starts talking crap about baiting, because I'm just like, you don't even know. You have no idea.
But you don't know the first half, bro. I tried to explain that to somebody and they're like, well, you're cheating. And I was like, well, call it what you want, but if I don't do it, I'm not seeing nothing. So
yeah, I've tried that. I mean, even this weekend, like when I go to my Monticello spot, dude, I've got food out there. I've seen one shooter buck, a spike, 3 does in the past 48 hours. And only the spike and does daylighted, and they came off from the left. Well, that's where the buck came from too. So what that tells me is they're using a trail. It's somewhere in there, and I'm pretty sure I know where it's at just from trying to look for the doe. I saw so much sign, dude. So much sign.
And I guarantee you took the path of least resistance, obviously.
Right? I did.
That's just, you're walking the deer trail at that point.
I legitimately was. I could see it. So when I go back this weekend, especially if they're not really showing up much in the field, Morning time is the best time there. I mean, I'll be honest, it really is.
Yeah, same here.
Unfortunately, I can't go in the morning this weekend, but I do plan on trying to go Friday when we get that not major, but that real, low dip in temperature.
Dude, it's gonna be 50, they said here.
Oh, for a low or high?
For a low.
Oh, see, here it's gonna be
The high is 73, they said.
See, for us, it's gonna be 53, I think, for a low, and then 71 or 69. It low 70s, high 60s.
Yeah, around like 5, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna, if everything lines up right, I will be in a tree. The problem is, am I gonna be in the woods and break the bubble, which I don't really like to do, but that's where the sign is and that's where the acorns are and all of that, or am I gonna be over the field? I'm gonna have to trust the camera on this, but there's a high chance I will be in the wood line over some sign.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Sometimes you got to just make that drastic change and just go for it. You know what I mean?
Because I've never actually hunted the left side of the property.
I'm bro. That's crazy you said that, because the spot where I'm at now, I've never thought I'd hunt the center of my property ever. Never.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why not? In my head, I'm like, this isn't a good spot. This isn't a good spot. I don't like this spot. I see all the deer over here.
Yeah.
And as soon as I move, that 10-pointer, that 9-pointer came out yesterday morning. Dude, if I wouldn't have been at work and would have been sitting in the tree,
you'd have killed him.
It'd have been a dead deer.
God, dude.
Yeah.
Look, man. God, we have to do another one of these because there's so many things we can cover. I thought we covered a lot, but man,
hundreds of them.
Yeah, we'll do more. I might do like an every other month kind of thing, because I mean, really, I think you might be one of the only consistent Georgia hunters that are on here. A lot of the times it's guys that are, bouncing around or, in other states. So we might have to make that a thing.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, I with
Kinda
land
like
management,
Georgia report.
all that. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm in the woods probably a good three times out of the middle of the week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the deer know the four-wheeler, and I want the deer to know the four-wheeler sound, because when I pull up on the four-wheeler, they don't take off running. But as soon as I jump off, or if I walk up there, they hear footsteps, they're gone.
Yeah.
But they put the four-wheeler to food.
Huh. Man, you used to open up a rabbit hole we don't have time to go down. But look, man, tell everybody where they can find you before we hop off here, and we'll set up another time for sure. But give me a shout real quick.
For sure. Again, Southwest Georgia Bow Hunters, sponsor of the Bow Hunting League. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We are working on coming out with some new arrows that I can't really say much about, but it'll be a complete custom set. And then hopefully that when I build this, amazing aluminum stand that I've been fabricating for the past, couple of months, it should be about 2 pounds altogether, and it'll be a lock-on. Out of chromoly, which is more durable than steel, but 5 times lighter.
Dude, that's insane.
So
that's insane, man. Well, look, I'm praying for you, hoping the best. Keep me updated about everything that goes down in the woods, and yeah, man, thank you for coming on. I guess we'll set up another one and do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely be sending you a picture of that 9-pointer on the ground this week.
That's what I want to hear. Awesome, man. I appreciate it.
All right, bud. Y'all have a good one, and everyone be safe and blessed. We with a world with so much hate out there, wake up and choose greatness.